By popular demand, we're going to talk about what staples are needed. First, I'm going to start off with the promotional cards that are either given out or we have to kind of hunt for through tournament packs, or I even include starter decks as kind of that. Keep an eye out because I'm going to be uploading staple cards for each individual colors to prepare yourself for set 3 and future sets. First, I'm going to start off with Ability Unleashed Ultimate Gohan. He's a 3-drop, 1500 with 0-5 combo. This is definitely going to be a staple for Red for a little while, until we get something else broken, obviously. But he is a 1500 3 cost, so a very good average attacker for a 3 cost. His effect allows him to either replace himself, which is obviously good, or get a pressure with a double strike, so if you're trying to finish your opponent off, or obviously apply more pressure. Now this is fantastic because this replacing itself obviously is really good, but if he ends up sitting on the board, you're constantly drawing cards, which is really good, obviously. So it applies more pressure in the long run toward your opponent. He is a BCC promo, so if your local game store has some left over, try to get this if you can. If not, you are most likely going to have to get this online. You can either get it through TCG Player, eBay, etc. But I do suggest to pick up a set of these for sure. Super Saiyan 3 Son Goku, 3 cost, 1500, and a 5/0 cost combo. Auto, when you play this card, all of your battle cards and leader cards that are red gain plus 5000 power for the duration of the turn. At the end of your turn, Goku returns back to your hand. Now, for the longest time, this was like a main staple you have to get, and I still believe it to a certain extent. There is going to be a new 3-drop 1500 that is going to be very powerful with the similar effect, which is GT Pan. Now, she may be replacing this card, but I do suggest to pick up at least 2 to 3 of these Gokus while they're pretty inexpensive. Being able to combo and get that plus 5000 power, even with Pan giving 5000 power, can obviously bring a lot of pressure towards your opponent. So not a definite have to run and grab right away, but definitely look into for sure for your red decks. Pick up possibly 2 to 3 of them. Now, I'm kind of peeking into the future here, but since we're in promotional cards, this is another staple. Piccolo the Strategist. A 4-drop, 3 blue, 2000 power, 5/0 cost combo. He has critical and barrier. Obviously, the barrier is he cannot be chosen by the skills of your opponent's cards. Active main. Choose one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost equal or less than the energy you have and KO it. You can only use this effect toward the end of the game. Now I'm going to clear that last part out. You can only use this effect for this particular card the time you play it. Keep in mind, so if you play one Piccolo, you can use this effect at any time, but you can only use this effect for that time once. All the other Piccolos in your deck, or any other Piccolo you summon, will still be able to play its effect. It's just for that Piccolo that was summoned or that is sitting on the field for that time. So definitely pick up 4 of these for your mono blue decks. That barrier makes it really hard to get rid of him, and that constant pressure of critical and whenever you want, destroy a card, very powerful. Determined Super Saiyan Son Gohan. 4-drop, 2 green, 1500, 1 cost for 10,000. He has critical, and the auto effect is when you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards and KO it. Now this card has been going rampant. I definitely believe it's still going to be very powerful in the future, even with barrier floating around. Now, keep in mind, he's able to destroy any battle card on the field. So it can be a 1 cost, a 10 cost, a 3 cost, or whatnot. It just can't target barrier. So for green decks, this is going to be, I definitely say, a staple. A minimum 2 of, for sure 4 of. You may not run all 4 in your deck, but you may be citing them for those decks that like to bring the big guys on the field. So definitely try to get your hands on this. This is a tournament pack card. Right now, his prices are pretty fair. I would definitely pick them up as soon as you can before they don't print him anymore and make it very difficult to get. Look into the future again. This is Increasing Evil Mass Saiyan. 4-drop colorless, 20,000 and 05K combo. You get him from the special pack that is going to be coming out with the set 3. So he has an Overwhelm 4 with a 1 colorless cost. His effect is when you play this card using Overwhelm, choose 1 card from your life and add it to your hand. If you do so, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 5 or less and send it to the war. Now you may say this isn't as good as the other Mass Saiyan you get from the Villains pack, but this to me is really powerful. And the reason why is, for those decks that do not self-awaken, this evil Mass Saiyan can be splashed into them. Now, pretty much by turn 3 at most, you're going to have those 4 cards in your discard. You pay that 1 energy cost, you end up getting 1 life, adding that to your hand, meaning that you can get a plus from your life, and you get closer to awakening, and you're able to send a card to the warp, not to the discard, to the warp, which is really good because now your opponent can't use that card to warp or I guess overwhelm during their turn. I would definitely suggest to pick up a minimum of 2, but definitely pick up 4 just so you can have a play set, and you may end up citing maybe 1 or 2 of them in your sideboard. But this is really good for decks that you play that have a leader that does not self-awaken. Now I'm going to bring up this special leader. He is definitely going to be a staple, and you can only get him in your draft boxes, but nowadays, obviously you can check your local game store or even online to pick one of these guys up. Here's his powerful effect. When you activate an extra card, you may choose 1 of your life and add it to your hand. If you do, reduce the energy cost of the extra 1 by 1 for the duration of the turn. If this card reduces an energy cost of a battle card less than 1, you may activate the card without paying its specified cost. To simplify his effect, anything you play that whatever color it is, if it's a 1 cost, is completely free. The only requirement is you take 1 life. If you play anything else that has a higher cost, for example, objection, you gotta pay the 1 color, and then Frieza will cover the rest. So this is very powerful for the fact of you're able to play extra cards earlier, which allows you to even awaken sooner, which then applies more pressure towards your opponent, because now, for example, you can end up playing 1 or 2 objections first turn, having more energy than your opponent, playing Monoka, which ends up allowing you to draw cards and then give yourself double strike. So he's a very powerful card, and in the near future, more extra cards that are coming out will make this leader even more powerful, because now you're able to activate these extra cards with 1 less of a cost, which allows you to activate it earlier than your opponent. So definitely get one of these leaders for sure, since you're pretty much able to splash him in any color that is going to be coming up. Now I'm going to bring up 2 last cards that are from the same starter deck, which is the first starter deck that was released in the game. Super Saiyan God Son Goku. He is a leader, a blue leader. When he attacks, choose up to 1 of your blue energy and switch it to active mode. When he's flipped over, he actually untaps 2 blue energy, and if you have 5 or more energy of any color, he becomes 20,000 when he attacks. So this is a very powerful leader that can pretty much be splashed with any color. So you run, your basic staple blues, and you run whatever color you want, and Goku allows tempo. So you don't have to worry about tapping out. You can end up doing extended plays. This is a very, very good card. I definitely suggest to pick up 1 for sure, just for the ability to be able to mix and match with any kind of color that is out there. My boy Vegeta, Prince of Speed, 5 cost, 3 blue, 1 cost 10k, 20k, double strike. He has an evolve for 2 blue and 2 colorless on top of Vegeta. And when you play this card, if you have 5 or more energy, draw 2 cards. Now I consider this somewhat of a staple. I would pick up maybe 2-3 copies at most, especially while they're really inexpensive right now, just for your high energy decks, especially your blue decks. The ability to get a +2 or +1 in a sense from your draw is really, really good, and he is a double strike, which applies a lot of pressure towards your opponent. So not a definite gotta rush to grab right away, but if you see them for a good price, pick them up. Well, I hope I was able to help most of you guys out with what promotions to pick up. If there's any other promos you feel that I might have missed that could be considered a staple, please let me know. Keep an eye out because I'm going to be putting videos up for colors red, blue, green, yellow, and black, and what staples to keep an eye out for them there. Thanks for watching, guys, and hope to hear from you guys down below. Like and subscribe.